Hi class, this is Dr. Halstead, and I am really enjoying getting to know you through your writing. The integrity of this class is just impressive, and loved seeing it in your ethical situations you've dealt with. Really, it's an honor to get to be in class with you. There is some business I want to discuss with you in terms of your writing, in terms of your response to the prompts for the discussion board. Be sure to include scholarly material. I appreciate your opinion, but that's not enough. And so refer to the reading as you're answering the prompt. So for example, you would say, as Kitchener said in his model of ethical decision making, etc., etc. And then, of course, include the citation as you're giving credit to the person who wrote it as you're articulating their idea. And then in the responses to your peers, be sure to also include material from the class. I love that you're encouraging each other. That's really important, and your support is creating a great community. But it's also important to comment on the scholarly material again. So if they say something about beneficence, then respond to that and say, yes, I agree, that does fit this case, and expand on that. So it's just cleaning up the discussions a little bit, but the second set was much better, and really appreciated your effort to improving. And second, in terms of the papers, be sure to follow APA model. That includes a title page, a introduction and conclusion, correct citations and reference page, all according to APA style. Answer whatever the topic is very carefully. Make sure you don't miss any piece of it. Some of you kind of came close to it, but missed exactly hitting right on what it was asking. So just be careful with that. They were, on the whole, very good, and with the little amount you were given with the case studies, you really did a good job. There are a few of you I referred to the Writing Center, the Writing Lab with ACU. Be sure to take advantage of that with your next assignment you turn in. I graded very lightly on it this time, but for those of you who I did refer to that, I will not be grading as lightly in this next set. So just do so. This is graduate level writing, and I want it to reflect that. So that's important. Another thing I wanted to share with you is just, you probably saw in the cases you were talking about in your papers, just the level of violation, especially in regards to boundaries, dual relationships, sexual things. It's just incredible how often that takes place. And, there were some others, but it seems the boundary issues are and always have been the biggest violation. I was on the ethics committee for the professional board in Texas, TAMFT, for a number of years, and we wrestled with how do we encourage our professionals to be, first to know about, to be educated about the code of ethics, and then to adhere to it. And so not everybody wants to pay attention to it. So I appreciate your kind of getting it, as I was seeing in the writing. And as you probably also saw, not everybody is ill intent. A lot of times the most heinous violations are because people think they're above the law. They don't think the rules apply to them, or they think they can get away with it and not get caught. And so some really awful stuff happens in that case. But sometimes people just make mistakes or don't have bad intentions, but they don't follow through very carefully. Someone called me in to the licensing board. I was working with this was a long time ago, I was working with a group of students who were doing a research project. And this was right before I finished my PhD, so I was working on my dissertation. And they sent out a letter, unbeknownst to me, that had my title as PhD candidate. And someone received that letter and called the licensing board and said that I was misrepresenting myself. And I didn't even know the students had sent this. So the investigator called me. I was very surprised and asked me about it, and they dropped it because it was obvious I was not trying to represent myself. Some students did it, and the students had no idea. And so even something like that, but thankfully the investigators are investigating. Another situation was there was a psychologist who was also a marriage and family therapist. He and a probation officer were running a sex offenders group, and the sex offenders had to go to this for part of their probation. And one of the participants shared in the group that he was in there because of perpetrating against his 14-year-old stepdaughter, but he had also touched his 4-year-old stepdaughter. And so the facilitators of the group, this friend of mine, and the probation officer pulled out of the group right then, and he said to the probation officer, "Do you want to call it in or do you want me to?" The probation officer said, "I can," and then they went back and finished the group. Well, a couple weeks later, there was a random lie detector test given, and as this participant did the lie detector test, he again said he had touched his 4-year-old stepdaughter. And the technician of the lie detector checked to see if it had been reported, and it hadn't. And this was really a surprise to my psychologist friend, and he tried to find the probation officer, and he was just gone. He never did find him. So he was called up on violation of not reporting abuse, and he got in all sorts of trouble, had both licenses suspended, both his psychology license and his MFT license. He had to go through supervision for ethics. That's where I came in, because he had to come to me for quite a number of sessions, and the court made him pay full price. I would have given him a discount, but that was part of what was mandated. And then he had to do some ethical classes and some different things. So, he was a person who had very good intent, thought it was being taken care of, but really he should have taken care of it himself. So there are situations where we just have to do our best, and I don't say all that to scare you, but just that this is a precious thing when we get our license, and some of you mentioned that in your papers, that you don't know why anyone would risk getting that taken away when they've done so much work to get it, and that's true. So that's the purpose of this course, even that you're required to take, is to help raise awareness of what is in the Code of Ethics so that you can avoid these violations later on. Really, I'm enjoying getting to know you. If there's anything I can do to help. One other thing I wanted to mention, on the rubric, if there are points removed, I will write a comment on there to let you know why. So check there first before you check with me, but certainly feel free to email me or do the comment thing on Canvas anytime you need me. Okay, take care. Bye.